Matthew and Luke tell stories about Judas Iscariot that are probably just stories, not historical events. I say this because of contradictions. According to Matthew, Judas hangs himself after returning 30 pieces of silver. The idea for hanging might come from the second book of Samuel. Ahithophel kills himself this way after betraying King David. Jesus is the new King David. He threw the pieces of silver into the temple sanctuary and went away and hanged himself. The chief priests took the pieces of silver and with the money bought the potter's field as a burial place for strangers. Luke describes Judas spending 30 pieces of silver on a field and then dying in a violent way that seems like God's vengeance. Now this man acquired a field with the price of his wickedness, and falling headlong, he burst open in the middle, and all his intestines gushed out. Matthew and Luke agree when they copy word for word what they take from Mark's Gospel, written at least 1 decade earlier. When Matthew and Luke deviate from Mark, stories don't mesh. How did early Christians know about 30 pieces of silver? No true follower of Jesus witnessed the transaction. This is a case of prophecy historicized, not history remembered. Prophecy historicized means that early Christians searched Hebrew Scripture for predictions about what would be true of the Messiah. They created stories about Jesus based on these predictions and also created new stories with details from old stories. About the 30 pieces of silver, Matthew declares that what was spoken through Jeremiah the prophet was fulfilled. Also, in the book of Zechariah, the prophet Zechariah receives 30 pieces of silver for his labor. He takes the coins and throws them to the potter.